Hi, this is Scott with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at installing our CURT hitch on our 2024 Toyota Highlander. This is what our hitch is going to look like installed. It's a pretty good look to it. It's pretty well hidden. The tube itself is kind of hid up in behind the bumper. It's going to stick out just a little bit, but nothing too bad. It is a pretty heavy-duty design. It's going to have a 500-pound tongue rating here, and that's going to be the weight pushing down on the tongue. That's going to be for any of your bike accessories, maybe a cargo rack or something you have on there. That'll handle 500 pounds there. As far as your towing capacity for this one, it's going to be 5,000 pounds, and that's going to be the weight of your trailer and everything you have on it combined. But with that number, you do want to take a look at your owner's manual and make sure that your numbers in your vehicle is able to handle that capacity. This hitch is going to be a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver, and that's going to fit any of your 2-inch accessories that you go on there with. It is going to be a 5/8 pin hole here, and this one does not come with the pin and clip, so you may want to get one of ours off of eTrailer here along with it. But maybe if you have get some accessories or something, some of them may have the pin with it, so you might be in luck there. Or there is the option of the lockable pin that goes on here. That's going to make sure any of your accessories you have on can't be taken off when you're not around. You are going to have your heavy-duty loop side plates here, and these are going to be able to accept your S-style hook or your Clevis-style hook. And either one of those are going to work for whatever you have on your trailer and be a heavy-duty option. As far as our measurements go for this hitch, we're looking at right about 16 inches from the top of the tube here to the ground. And that measurement is going to be used if you need to decide if you need any raise in the shank of, say, a bike lift or a cargo carrier or anything like that, just to give you a little more clearance. And as far as from pin to end of bumper, you're looking at right at about 1.5 inches there to this point. And with that measurement, that's going to help you decide if you have a folding bike rack or something like that, if you have the clearance to fold it up and not make contact with the back of your vehicle. As far as the installation goes, it's really not too complicated. You will have a little bit of trimming, but you can get around that too, because the part that you have to trim, you really don't even have to put back on if you don't want to. You can just leave it off and go with it. So if it's something you want to get done, stick around and watch our video, but you also have the option of looking at our dealer locator to see if you can get it done for you locally. So if you'd like to see us get this hitch put on, stick around and watch our video. To start our installation for our hitch, we did end up taking our spare tire down, which you shouldn't have to do on yours, but we just did it so that way you'll be able to see a little easier and we can get some better camera angles. But to begin our installation, what we're going to do is we're going to have to remove this panel right here. So what we're going to start with is having some 10mm sockets, and we'll go around the side here and we'll start getting those removed. Next, we'll get these plastic rivets out here. If you get a screwdriver in the edge of it there, you'll see there's a slot. You can just wiggle them out. Could be a little debris up in there, so if you give them a wiggle, it'll come out a little easier for you. Now here on the side, up towards the bottom of the body here, you're going to have these 12mm plastic nuts. You just want to apply a little downward pressure to your panel here, and those should back off for you. And you just want to go easy. And with those broke free, it'll come right off for us. Now along the back here, you're going to have these little plastic bumper support pieces here. We're going to do the same thing with our screwdriver and just pop those out. Got 2 of those there. And with these out, that's going to allow us to swing our hitch up in there. So what we'll do is we'll just bend these down for now out of the way. Now along each one of your frame rails here where our hitch is going to mount up, we're going to have these rubber plugs. We're just going to take a screwdriver and get up under those and pop those out. And we will not be needing those for our reinstallation, so we can just get those out of the way. And we will do that on both sides. On the passenger side, you're going to have this little bracket here that's kind of back by the exhaust. We're just going to take that out of the way. We will not be reinstalling that. That's just going to make room for our hitch to go up there. One of them is going to be a 10 millimeter and the other is going to be a 17 millimeter. As far as our hardware goes, we will have a conical washer here and there will be little teeth on it, and you can see it's kind of got a dip in it. So we want to have those teeth facing up and facing the hitch when we put this on. All right, with an extra set of hands, we'll just get our hitch put in place. We're going to get it up over the exhaust here. And we do have a little exhaust flap here we need to get by. I'll just kind of pull that down and go up by that. And once we get past that point, it's pretty easy. Go ahead and get one started over there. You just want to get one started on both sides, that way it'll hold it in place. And when you get them in place, you don't want to crank them down right away because you want to be able to get it straightened out and centered up. And once you get one in on each side and you get it kind of snugged up, just going to go back through and then get all your other ones put in finger tight. You may have to wiggle it around a little bit to get them to start. Once you do, just kind of bring them up finger tight, and then once we get them all in finger tight, we're going to get behind the vehicle and make sure our hitch is centered up and where we want it before we crank them all down. Now that we have our hitch centered up where we want it and all of our bolts in kind of hand tight, what we're going to do is just run through, and I like to start on the center one because it likes to pull everything up straight up. Kind of just bring them up snug. And just do that, get them all tightened up on both sides. Now with all of our bolts snug down, we're just going to go back through and torque them down to the specifications in our instruction manual. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can look them up here on eTrailer. Now we'll come back through and start putting the stuff on that we took off. So our little bumper support pieces here, we'll just get those put back on with our plastic rivets. For our next step, we're going to need to get this little plastic piece that goes in the driver's side trimmed out. So what I like to do is kind of put it in place and get a general idea of what needs to come off of it. You can also follow the instructions. You're going to have a diagram in there, but I like to kind of put it in place to get an idea of what needs to come out. Now we've got our panel all marked out where we need to cut it, and basically we're going to cut right along here, and we're going to cut up around here, and this whole piece right here will come off, and that'll make room for the long part of our hitch. And then on this side, we're going to remove all of this on the inside of the blue tape, and that will make room for it too. So we're going to get this cut out, and then we'll get it put back up there, and we'll let you know how it looks. Now we'll just get our panel put back in place here. You're going to want to have to put it in the back first and just kind of move it into place. Can be a little tricky to get to go back. Once it starts falling in place for you, you'll be good to go. Okay. Usually the best idea is just line up these up here and just kind of push them up, and that'll hold them in place. Now right here on your driver's side where your mud flap is, you are going to have this little clip. You want that to go over your fender here, and that's going to kind of click it all in place for you, but it's also going to supply your mounting location for your screw when you put it back in for your little mud flap there. Now with it put in place, you can just put your hardware back on in reverse order. With everything all put back together, all we have to do is put our spare tire back up, and that'll do it for our installation of our CURT hitch on our 2024 Toyota Highlander.